What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Press Start Select Podcast. I'm your host, Antonius the Gamer, joined by my two fellow co-hosts, Mikkel Smith and Super SSS Rank. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me for another episode of the pod. You know, it's always better when the three of us are together, the trio. And, we got a couple of things to discuss this evening. You know, a lot of things happened since the last time we recorded. EVO has since wrapped up. A lot of the post Evo movement is being felt, like the ripple effect, so to speak. We're seeing a lot of previews and stuff about the things that people were able to play hands on while they were there. So let me just start with that. What were you guys' overall thoughts about how the Evo weekend played out?
It was interesting. I am having more faith in it being something that Sony purchased. I do feel like because there was a lot of changes from that. Like there was certain games that are no longer part of the mix, but I do feel like it still hold up pretty well. I felt like the roster of games was pretty good, and just even what was available to play on the floor or what was released prior, I felt like it was good, man. It was really showing that fighting games are built for longevity. They really are as of now. Depending on, what practices you like about them or not, it's just they are investments of the future, and you have to look at them as that. They're no longer just these quick things to indulge in. These are something that you're probably going to take like 5 years down the line with you.
Yeah, not to mention we were getting like the unabashed like cosmetic pack era of like, hey, do you like Tekken 8? Do you like Chipotle? Well, good. I got great news for you. And if you love Nike, I got amazing news for you.
That's crazy, man.
But it's not a bad thing. It's just kind of like you said, Tim, it's like you're seeing Evo be elevated to another level of like, these endorsements are different now. It's not just like someone, renting a small little convention hall for people who don't shower often and just play with a controller and a fight pad. It's like, nah, it's sweet setup. It's prize money. It's corporate chain endorsements. You can tell that Sony is taking PlayStation being the preferred console, let me say, for fighting games with some level of pride. S Rank, what are your thoughts on Evo overall and how everything was presented?
It was cool. It was cool. I mean, since we don't have E3 anymore, these events kind of like fill a void that I'm looking to be filled. And just seeing the fighting games have grown to be what they are now, and I feel like it's not gonna go down. You got people who never play games anymore, and the game they want to play is a fighting game. That says a lot, man. And I think culture boundaries are being broken off of people wanting to get to fighting games now. It's no longer, man, well, they say, man, I'm going to play the game and I'm going to enjoy it. Okay, I don't care if I'm not the best anymore. Let me get better with time. Yeah, and I like that. I like that people are jumping into Tekken. They're like, you know what? I'm going to learn Reina. I said, yo, that's not a character easy to learn. They said, they don't care. They're going to learn it. And then, I feel that I like where it's going. I like the celebration. I like that the fighting game community, the EVO fans, man, this is something that it means a lot to them.
It's a culture unto itself.
It's a culture in itself, and I think this is healthy, man, for pop culture, healthy for what's going on in the world. I love it, man. It fills a void for me, even though a lot of the fighting games I'm not really, I don't really care for, but to see the community and see the health of the market. I got my small gripes, but overall I loved it, man. I love EVO. I like seeing the people win their prizes, the hard work and effort that pays off. I love the trailers now, the surprises of seeing what fighting game characters are going to come or what trailers will take place. Yeah, as long as it maintains the core factor, I'll never be worried about it feeling too commercial or anything like that, because it still feels like it has its own identity. Like they can try, but it's just not enough power to kind of like disrupt the brotherhood that EVO has.
Yeah,
if I'm making sense, it almost feels like it's self-sustained at this point.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. I think like even some of the interviews that they were conducting, where it's like they're pulling aside people who are literally celebrities in this world, like in this bubble. Like, I'm gonna pull aside so and so, I'm gonna pull aside such and such, and it's just like,
yeah.
Man, I think that's, like you said, it's great, it's healthy. It's not here's Justin Wong wearing a Chipotle shirt, right? Like he's still able to express himself the way he wants to. They're still asking him about like fighting game related things and like, hey, we're gonna pull these people aside of this room to play, an earlier build of the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection because we know that the content they're gonna put out is gonna get people excited. And like you said, it was just good to see people kind of being involved on different levels. Now, I think we should kind of just hit some of the bigger highlights, kind of game by game. And what better way to start off with Street Fighter 6? For one, hitting the group chat to tell Tim, hey, Tim, I'm seeing Bison fairly often in these matches over and over and over and over again.
Goodness,
and
man.
knowing this man is making the Arthur fist watching YouTube live, just like you saw a lot of Bison, you saw a lot of Chun-Li, but ultimately it was Punk the God winning with Cammy when it came down to it. And I do want to play a short little clip real quick of that win or the fallout of the win afterwards. But what did it mean for you guys to watch, brother, take it home on American soil for America at EVO this year?
You go ahead, Jordy.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I wouldn't be surprised if this does a joint thing with the Olympics because it definitely had the Olympic energy, man. Because boy, man, there was someone showing Twitter. They was on Twitter showing that a couple of people peed while watching they couldn't get up. They peed in their seat. They said like, listen. I know like 10 people next to me that couldn't leave. Yeah, they said the emotions were so high in the room, they didn't even leave. They were all over Twitter. I was like, man, what?
That speaks a little bit to some of the core EVO things that should probably change, right?
Yeah. But I'm not condoning it. But I'm just saying, if the stakes is that high, like, yo, but the thing is, I'm not there. We've been in places where you could feel the energy, and it's
I'm about to say, we know that feeling of like, I'm gonna walk out of this movie real quick to go get something to drink, and you're doing
and you can't because those people you're watching a movie with, you're technically family.
Yeah.
You can't just like
you're having a shared experience together.
Yeah, you're having a shared human experience together, and that is why the movies are so powerful. You know what I'm saying? That's why I still go to the movie theaters.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And no, it was boy, it was what that thing was, man. So yeah, back to a lot of the man. I'm getting lost in thought. Bring me back. Steer me back, guys.
I'll share this clip in the meantime then.
All right, go ahead.
Of a quick little celebration that was thrown for Punk the God after he won it for America. This man. Parting like the Red Sea so he could walk now with his trophy.
Man, I'm happy for him, man. Technically, that was like a curse, right? An EVO curse. Tim, you might know something more about that than I would.
I mean, I was very happy for him. It definitely, especially since Street Fighter was the main game that brought in the most players. It kind of just feels like you won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like you really just won the Super Bowl of this particular year, and Evo has finally started to get like hits like legs back, especially after the whole pandemic era and recovering back from the pandemic. So 2020 Evo 2024 was a big year for people, man. It really was. So that was very beautiful to see. And even especially being a young person, it's kind of like, all right, well, where do you go from here? So, as the game develops, people are going to be, testing their skills to learn more. Because, as of now, the next person in line is the guest character. So, how are they going to play in this new system? And then are these, characters that people want to fundamentally take with them down the road? So, it's kind of like it teaches you that with every new character, there's more to learn. Especially since, that character may not be your main character, but it's the sense like if I go against an opponent, I need to know. So that means I need to know this character in order to know how do I defeat this character.
Yeah. And I think to your point, like it shows that fighting game developers are doing a better job of pacing the releases around EVO. Like I remember there used to be a time where a character would drop and it's just like, hey, they're banned because they came out 2 weeks ago. They're not like fully play tested by the audience. They probably have some broken skill that's gonna power through every single like, tier. I think they did a good job of like they gave Eddie Gordo enough time to breathe. They gave Bison enough time to breathe where it's like if there was anything that was like ridiculously overpowered. No, Akuma, yeah, but Akuma was like towards the tail end of season 1. So it's like, but they gave these characters enough time to like, all right, we can iron out any mistakes, anything that makes this character just a little bit too OP. To like Tim said, like to give the characters people enough time to play, react, learn some of the fighting styles. Like I'm sure there were certain things with Bison people weren't prepared for, which is why he was picked so much. But it was still like, okay, he's not pulling out the 1, 2, 3 combo that we see 4 or 5 times over and over again. Like the people that were picking him, you were seeing things that like, man, I didn't expect you'd be able to do that with Bison at this stage. So I thought that was really cool. As far as Street Fighter Third Strike, they say that we got our modern day Evo moment of seeing Hugo versus Ken. Did you guys see that clip?
No.
Man, I was angry.
That was crazy.
I personally hate Hugo. I personally hate Hugo.
But
I like those characters.
It made it even crazier. Like Hugo of all people, bro. Like, let me see if I can find it.
He's actually a top tier character.
Yeah.
He's not like no sleepover.
But it's still just like, another thing of like, how is it that Ken always gets involved in these Street Fighter 3 moments of like, if there's Evo and if there's Ken, he's gonna get put on the Summer Jam screen, being embarrassed. I probably can't find the clip in time, but yeah, I just I think it was cool that people were getting their moments. As far as Tekken, was there anything that you guys were surprised by some of the selections and picks?
You already know.
No. Before
we can't drop the ether beat yet. We can't drop the ether beat yet. I felt like I thought Arslan Ash was gonna lose to man, I forgot his name. Jeez. But yeah, the Arslan Ash fight was dope. I missed a couple of the other ones, the more intense ones. But pretty much those were the fights that I think was probably the highlight. He wins again. I would say if that Fang wasn't if that Fang still had not been nerfed, he would have took it. Yeah, he would have took it because there's certain attacks that Fang had. Man, he would have been. It'd have been over, bro. But
I think that's a good thing.
Out of all the things, Nina won. Nina won the tournament, man.
Which is
no, but that's great. That's good. That's good, right? It wasn't Eddie Gordo. Everyone was complaining. Eddie Gordo was busted. Yeah. I mean, we'll probably see an Eddie Gordo next Evo, guaranteed. For sure. But for whatever reason, Dragunov is always there. Dragunov's been in every.
Understand. His playstyle is so wonky to me. So I'm like, I don't understand. I was like, this is my guy. It's like, really?
No, it's because he's easy. It's because he's easy. It's not because he's It's not because he's like it's very technical. Like if there was a Mishima player, then you'd be like, no, this guy put in work because those characters are not.
They're methodical.
Easy. They're not. They're just. You want to learn a discipline? They're actually karate people. Good luck.
And this dance, I can counter you with that, and Reina has the parry with this, and you're just like, you got it.
Yeah. And Reina is not an easy character to play. All those attacks, you have to Harvard level understanding to get there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's stuff when I'm playing with her, like I do it by accident. I'm like, I have no idea what I did. I can't replicate it. Fire.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she's dope.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I think, it was a successful Evo. I was entertained. It was probably the first time in years that I was like glued to my YouTube live, like had to play in the background. I would tune in, pick up my phone, pick up like whatever I was watching.
Most balanced, most definitely most balanced Evo. Because you didn't know what character was going to. I wasn't expecting a Cammy to win.
No. And then some of the selections people were picking, like, I'm going to go with Chun-Li. It's like, Chun-Li? Like, what?
Yeah, but then you see they Chun-Li.
Then you see what they do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. This Chun-Li is doing bicycle kicks better than Liu Kang? Okay.
Right. Has one of the slowest projectiles in the game, but somehow she's okay. Yeah. It was refreshing to see.
Guy was still a nightmare.
Yeah.
And DJ.
Yeah. And Ken.
Yeah, Ken is.
They've nerfed Ken like 3 times and he's still good. Like
He's still American. That's just American cheat code, boy.
yeah. So now I think we can segue into some of the announcement and trailers. One of the things that I want to show first is they shadow dropped the game on us. We all predicted that they were going to do some type of shadow drop. We all
They
had
did.
our fingers crossed and praying to the fighting gods that it'd be Marvel's Capcom Fighting Collection, but we knew that wouldn't be the case, right? We know that it has to have some type of rollout. It'll more than likely have like a winter release, but a man can hope, right? My inner child can dream.
Yep.
But we did get a shadow drop. It was a shadow drop that I don't think anybody was really expecting, and it was SNK versus Capcom, SVC Chaos. So I'm gonna play the release trailer real quick, and then we could talk about this shadow drop that is about as random as the roster that's in this game. All right, and here we go. This roster is so random to the point that like it's 36 characters, and I'm like, but I don't. It's not like a draw for me. I'm not like, ooh, 36 characters. It's like,
I mean, the only thing working for it is the art style. Like, it's fresh. It's fresh sprites, not recycled sprites.
true. But I don't like the sprites though, to be honest with you. First and foremost, I want to say shout out to whoever the Capcom artist is that keeps making these covers. He or she deserves a raise because another one for the vaults, another one to put up on the wall.
Another one. Oh, you funny.
Fire. In terms of cover art, but yeah, what do we think about SNK versus Capcom just dropping the damn?
I'm waiting for two. But yeah.
Well, technically, bro, it was honestly that was very genius. I would say that. Like even when I logged onto my PlayStation the day that it was released, it already had like 5 stars. People, it's like people were so happy that they got this, and it's such a very good legacy title to them. Like, yes, they said this game had some wonky stuff to it, but it's just the fact that people just love that now it's finally available. Because I think I would say PlayStation or Xbox and Nintendo are doing is with some of these remakes or reintroductions, especially with some like quality of life updates. These are going to be the versions that are going to be available, I would say, the next 10 to 15 years due to the way the online structure of video games are now these days. The rollback is good. Like I said, the other quality of life upgrades are there. And it's just great. It really is. And I think this is a great comeback for SNK. SNK has been really putting in the work from what they've been doing
For
with
real.
the King of Fighters series, bringing back Samurai Showdown, Fatal, even the new Fatal Fury, everything, man. And I do feel like this was needed because technically this is the SNK version of a crossover, and you already know what's around the corner, but Capcom was the one who is based on their engine and their fighting style. But it just gives you so much joy. Like, yes, these things are here, they're present. And yes, people of a certain demographic or age group may say, oh, but these games are so old. But then when you really look at it, bro, like this type of gameplay has held up for so long.
Yeah.
And yes, yeah, you may like, oh, look at them, oh, there's sprites. But then that goes back to what we said past pods. Does graphics really matter when the gameplay is fire?
To a degree, right?
To a
To a
degree.
degree. But for the most part, you're right. It doesn't, right? Because I'm like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this particular graphic style, only because like I'm just so used to seeing Zero in like a high render. So seeing him in like this like blocky sprite is just like it's just jarring to me visually.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? But like it doesn't mean that it's bad per se. I'm just like, this is just I need Zero in like, you know, like I need that either the Super Nintendo vintage look or the high definition. There is no in between for me. So seeing him in like this like retro kind of Game Boy Advance esque look for him was just kind of off. And then again, like I said, I can't get past the Mars alien from Metal Slug. That to me, I'm just like, this is such. Y'all were just like SNK All Stars, pretty much.
Yeah,
like,
why not? Why not? Why not?
What do we have?
Why not?
Forget not the humans in the game, the alien. I mean, all right, sure.
I mean,
Frank, you got any thoughts on SNK versus Capcom Shadow Drop?
Oh no, it was dope. I think stuff like that should happen more often, man. A rare treat. You get people tuning in. Hey, what's gonna be inside this goodie bag of EVO that I'm watching? Now they don't have to always do it, but like I mean, the fact that they did it is just it keeps an ecosystem, man. You keep a freshness, man. A freshness a freshness to the relationship. Let's go on a date, you know. Let's go see here. Let's not plan anything for today. Let's do something that we didn't plan for. You know, stuff like that. Especially with a fighting game that holds prestige like that. I know people are like, yo, I'm going to buy this one just because you guys decide y'all thought of me. And then when the real one that they really want comes out, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be graduation hats in the air. You know,
and the pricing.
And the pricing.
Just right.
The
Just
pricing
right.
is like, bro, you can't beat that.
The pricing.
Just right.
Roll back netcode.
Hitbox frames.
Two additional characters. So 2 additional characters?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I did not pay attention. And then there you go. Yeah, man. So I mean, could you imagine what they're gonna do with SNK versus Capcom? You know, Marvel versus SNK.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be when they get to it, it's gonna be a nice one.
You mean Capcom versus SNK?
Capcom versus I said Marvel. Capcom versus SNK. Thank you, man. Capcom versus SNK. Like that's one of my favorite ones, to be honest with you. I like that one more than Marvel versus Capcom. I do.
Yeah. I am the same way.
Yeah. I love Marvel vs. Capcom, but when I played that one, I had to be honest with myself because I said, I know what I'm supposed to say culturally. I know what I'm supposed to say.
I think because of this, due to that era, Capcom versus SNK felt more level. I would say it was this side versus, and it felt real because when you really look at it, like look at Marvel 3. Marvel 3 is probably one of the most adventurous times of a roster on both sides because you know this was the first time where the Capcom roster was not 70% Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And they just pulled from all of their different properties.
They went deep cut.
But then the thing about it is with Marvel, like yes, you had familiar elements, I would say, but it was still the fact that it was like they expanded a bit, and it's like, whoa, this person versus who?
Yeah.
Virgil versus Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, before he was popular. A lot of the characters they put in before they were popular. It's like here's Rocket Raccoon, here is Nova. Like
Iron Fist versus
Ryu. And who knew, right? Like, yo, this character is fire.
Yeah, they play amazing.
Yeah,
that was a very good roster. That was a good roster. Yeah, that was a nice roster.
Like when he said like Capcom versus SNK, it's just like you just kind of felt like it was one big Street Fighter universe, King of Fighters crossover. It's just hands and fireballs, with the occasional Morrigan.
Because the supernatural exists in Street Fighter. They just don't want to they don't want to accept the lore that they've built. Like she is a consistent, reoccurring character. Like the Darkstalkers world just exists. That's just
John Talbot in the game.
And they also had rival school characters.
Yeah, they did. That's what made it the icing on the cake. They had rival school characters, man.
Capcom is still sitting on a gold mine that they just refuse to
They're
unearth.
sitting on a gold mine. They want to get rid of Ryu. Batsu's right there. Like they want to get rid of They want to get rid of certain players. I'm like, yo, you have your story right there. Batsu's already a troubled teenager. He finds Ryu, you know, gets in contact with the Dark Hado because he's such a. It would make sense for it to fall on him or whatever, but that's just another part of the story. But they're sitting on a gold mine, man, and it hurts, man, because you have everything to tell you. Listen, teen stories still matter.
Yeah,
Naruto was teen
it.
story. Naruto teen story. My Hero Academia when it started, teen story.
Yeah.
It was just that it was something everybody could relate to.
Exactly. They're either currently going through it or they're recollecting on the certain aspects of it. Like it's such it's for as much of it's been the way it's been addressed over the years. There's still so much uncharted territory especially when you go off the beaten path. So I think ultimately, like you said, like rival schools would be again a treasure trove of just content that they could pull from, rather than trying to scrape the barrel for characters that they haven't brought back since Street Fighter Alpha 3 or whatever.
I understand Final Fight is cool, but listen, guys, Rival School is right. Rival School that is your Dawson's Creek, your One Tree Hill. You feel me? You feel me? Your OC. You feel me? That's that. As California. You feel me? That's y'all game right there, man. Just do it. Oh my goodness!
But speaking of SNK crossovers, it didn't stop with a shadow drop. There was a SNK crossover announced on the big screen, in the 4K, in the HD. Terry Bogard got a teaser trailer.
Needs a facelift.
EVO. Needs a facelift, but again, like I said in the group chat, there was Street Fighter V Ken, and they were able to fix that. So we know it's not impossible for them to course correct.
Street Fighter V Ken. That took a while, man.
It did take a while. It did. Much like most things in that game, to be honest.
Terry is Pow Pow Cafe's special VIP for the store's opening. But whenever the hungry wolves surround, you know that his fights are going to be a hot topic. Let me fight you next!
I want to fight you!
Oh wait, he's going all out here! Is this gonna do it? Knuckle! This fight's over! Your winner is the Hungry Wolf, Terry Bogard! Okay!
Yeah, I mean, he does.
Now speak your piece, too.
He does look a bit weird, and I did kind of find it weird that they chose his classic costume versus his more older, updated look. But I do realize the color palette is very similar to Ken, Vagabond Ken. And it's just that, I hope they do some fine tuning before he gets released. I'm really looking forward to see what type of elements that they add into it. Because you remember when they brought in Akuma and even the vampire lady, that was the first time we had meter burn characters. I would say in the Tekken universe on the side. So I'm interested to see what Street Fighter is going to do with SNK characters on this side, but for this modern era, because you could definitely tell this is definitely like a template for, gotta call it for what it is, Capcom versus SNK 3. What would that look like? What would that look like?
It is testing the waters. Ask Frank, you got any thoughts on Terry's reveal? Well, I mean, we know he was coming, but him being the next character.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it, man. I like it. I wish it was his Garo outfit, but I realize it's gonna be the cha-ching alternative. So
you got to go for the iconic look when it comes to a guest character. At least in the reveal. At least in the reveal.
I was hoping that they didn't go for a 1-for-1. If I'm making any sense, they did some slight modifications to his classic look in the Street Fighter universe. I wish they kind of Street Fightered it up. You know, I mean, it's cool though.
Which thing, Mike?
If
We
you
haven't
guys,
seen.
if I'm making sense,
You basically saying you wish what Storm did with Lars. Like, cause you remember they made Lars look like
yeah,
he's part of this universe. So
exactly. Because it's like, okay, I mean, I know what Terry looks like already. You get what I'm saying? So like, make dress him up a little bit.
Mhm.
Okay, you could be like, well, what about Akuma? Akuma, they made Akuma look like he belonged in Tekken.
True.
Even Geese Howard.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I would have wanted them to add a little bit more, or to make the jacket a little bit, a puffier or whatever. Small things, small nitpicks that I have critiques. But I liked it. His face needs some work.
Do you guys think that they should have gone with Terry as the next character release right after releasing Bison? Do you think they should have done the like proper Street Fighter reveals first and then saved Terry and Mai as like the last two for season 2?
no, because I do kind of like after when I looked at the layout, I do kind of like that Elena is last
Mm-hmm.
because I do kind of feel like that's some type of like connection to Akuma. Because remember, Akuma was the last character in the first season, and I know there's a connection between them.
Which is so
So
random.
and And yeah, she was missing in Street Fighter Five, so it's interesting to see, like, what is she capable of now, and what is her importance? Because you could tell, like, especially by the trailer, she's looking up the sky, she's seeing like some she's like a very mystic type character. Like, there's something going on here in
Mm-hmm.
this world that
Mm,
Elena has to return. I mean, even look at her design. They updated her design. She's a bit older now. She looks more like a little priestess or something of that nature. So I'm interested to see what they do. Yeah, so I mean Terry and Mai, that's definitely something just to hold people over for the fall and the winter
Mm-hmm.
because Elena doesn't come out till early next year.
And isn't the next King of the Fighters supposed to drop this fall? Or am I wrong on the
you
release date?
probably right.
You
I
mean
think you're
You
right.
mean Fatal Fury?
Sorry, Fatal Fury. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Marco
Fatal Fury.
Wolves.
Mark of
Yeah,
Wolves. Yeah.
yeah. City of the Wolves. Yeah, City Wolves. Yeah, I believe that drops later this year.
So I guess that makes sense because you would want as much SNK cross promo as possible. Like,
Hmm.
hey, if you like this character, it's an SNK property. Look what else we got over here.
That's looking
So
to be promising, to be honest with you, man.
yeah,
The SNK game is looking legit.
really unique and colorful art style, like in a way that makes sense. It's again, to Tim's earlier point, like it's not necessarily about graphics, but graphical style.
Actually, City of the Wolves is coming out next year.
Really,
Yeah,
I could have sworn they had announced
probably.
like a fall release date of
I
this
would
year.
say
But
probably like a spring date
okay.
because you definitely tell they would want this for Evo, so they probably might do it like a January drop like they did for Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing about this is it's been 26 years since the last Fatal Fury game.
That's crazy.
26 years, bro.
I mean,
Mark of the Wolves is that old.
I'm just glad that SNK is joining these like legacy game companies of taking their game seriously again. Like I think to me like that's the biggest takeaway from when I see a trailer like that of like,
And
yeah,
they're paying for it.
great that Terry is the one that you guys trot out every time you want a crossover character, but good, right? Good. Like for me, who was never
Excuse me.
really as big of an SNK fan, I recognize him because he's been in Super Smash Brothers. He's been in this. He's been like they're trying to make him what Capcom has done with Ryu and Chun-Li over the years. So like him and Mai are going to be the faces of this particular fighting game IP that we have, and we're going to continue to roll out other ones as we can revitalize certain things. And of
Yeah.
course, it's like you guys said before you even watch the trailer. It's like it's the perfect tease of like, but what happens when we do Capcom versus SNK3, the modern era, right? Like I think it's the like I know S Rank you have a lot of very valid points when it comes to guest characters wasting a slot, but like I said, I think it's the best way to capitalize on a moment of like let's
Well,
give these games for this particular cycle a moment that these fans can have for themselves. Like man,
okay.
I'll never, because again, we always talk about it. I'll never forget Soul Calibur 2 having Link, Heihachi, and Spawn. You'll never forget it. You'll never forget it.
Man,
You'll
you
know
remember
where you know
those
exactly where you were.
the ad
There you go.
campaign?
There you go. They gave you a
Oh
moment.
my goodness, man.
They gave you a moment, and I think that's a thing that gets overlooked. Like, oh, that's not gonna go to anybody. Like, yeah, but you know where you were when you saw that announcement. You'll always remember it, especially if the character ended up being fire. So,
man, those were some of the best commercials, man.
Yeah,
you had the weapons dealer trying to sell weapons out of the back of his truck. Hey, man, I got this new thing. After Heihachi is looking at the weapons, he punches it. Okay. You can just use your fist. Well, Heihachi joins the Soul Calibur and is the king of the Iron Fist. I'm like, man, this is peak.
Yeah.
Oh, but
peak
yeah,
marketing.
man. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not mad at it. It just leaves a hole in your heart. Back to what you said, man. Like, this will never happen again. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate will never happen again, unless the UN decides to join in and say, listen, you have to.
It's a contributing factor. World peace.
Master Chief.
World peace cannot be.
Master Chief, Garrett of Rivia, the World of Warcraft,
Astrobot. We need
Astrobot.
all of
Yeah, Cratos. They all got to be Crash Bandicoot. If it's not happening, otherwise Korea will launch. Like like
Sakurai. It's all on you.
It's all on you. That one man saved the world, and for that reason, you see a statue of him holding the world
holding
together.
Kirby,
and then all the other characters helping him. That's just, man. It's because you let me play as Paugi, huh?
Right. Thank you for all those Fire Emblem characters. I never knew that I needed them.
all 97,000 of them. Thank you. I don't know his name, but I know his sword. He's the one who does that ha ha ha, right? Yeah.
Right. This is Roy, not Ike. I know Ike's sword is heavier.
Is that Golden Sun? Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, we losing it now, boy. Custom Robo. Oh
my goodness.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. Like I'm like I cannot explain to my nephew, like, listen, you're not gonna get this again. This character that you see here playing like this.
He does not return. Not to this.
This isn't. We literally summoned the Infinity Stones and beat Thanos. That 1% that Doctor Strange saw. Yeah, that's what he saw.
Yeah.
That's what he saw.
The one universe where everything aligns. We were there.
Everything aligned, right? And so, it just leaves a hole in my heart. But I think it's a healthy. And also it's companies mending feuds.
Yeah.
So this is and you kind of have to mend feuds after what Tekken did. Otherwise, you're gonna let Tekken and Street Fighter just, hey man, I'll pitch you 1,000. You pitch me 1,000 the other week. I'll pitch you 2. Then one thing that will destroy, I think, will make either party, if they decide to do it, is if they put Baki in there.
I think they're going to stay away from the anime crossovers for now.
Well, I mean, if you put Hajime no Ippo, Baki,
I feel like it's a break in case of emergency button, to be honest. Like, yeah. I think it's not that it can't happen, but I think it's like we're going to try to avoid that route for as long as possible, right? Like, I think that was always a smart thing, because if you look at, like, for example, Smash Brothers, the request list was Goku was always there. Always. It was always Sword for Kingdom Hearts, Goku.
Yeah, but that's not fair.
Goku. Exactly, right? Because it starts to open up this vault that you really don't want to go down that road of, like, I don't want to see Sonic fight Vegeta. It sounds good on paper, but I really don't.
I don't either. Absolutely. No, but I think with this one, it's going to be more tame, because you understand that they're coming to my universe. I understand Geese Howard is coming to Tekken universe. So I'm not expecting it to be, if you're a guest character, then you got to apply to their rules in a way. You know what I'm saying? Noctis is still getting knocked out by Heihachi, even though he can fight a level 10. My goodness. Bahamut, Infinite and Bahamut. You feel me? Like, so, I think once it gets out, once people will understand, like, listen, this is Baki in the Tekken universe. None of that foolishness is going to take place. But I mean, I'm open to it. I think it'll be dope. I think it'll be fire. I don't think it's going to be oh no, you got to put this character in now. Well, that's not the world they're in.
Yeah. It's a break in case of emergency. I can't say
that
it won't,
so?
But I don't think. I think
I don't think it'll be as bad.
They're not looking to cross over those worlds so they can avoid it. Like if I can still make my millions without having to get the anime fanboys, I already know. Like the Tifa fanboys are already bad enough as it is for Harada. Yeah. Now I got to get yo, why in the world wouldn't you put Android 18? It just makes sense. It's like, well, that's not even
You know, it
open
doesn't make
Pandora's
sense.
door. Yeah.
It doesn't. Well, you got Brian Fury. No. That's a little different. It's a little
Yeah,
different. There's no
when you
Bulma.
look because when you look at when Storm had that guest character of Lars, like it made sense because it's still the same publisher,
Yeah.
Namco Bandai. So it's like, yeah, the universe fit, but yeah, did we ever see Lars again? No.
Yeah. And they did it smart of like, he's not in the story. He's not, there's nothing like, he comes to Naruto land, none of that. It's just like, there's Lars. Ooh. Tekken 6, buy it now. Oh, okay. You know, like that was it. There was no, that's all it was.
It's crazy that he had one of the sickest designs. His design was so fire. I wanted him to be in Naruto.
Right. It almost made like you kind of wanted like, so
Jeez.
when is the Tekken crossover coming? Because he looks like this. I know Kazi about to look amazing.
What? Kazuya Jun by both of the Mishima family? Oh yeah. Man, don't say that. Don't put that in my mind. Man, don't put that in my mind. Now I'm gonna start a campaign.
But speaking of surprise Mishimas,
and
family
hold
members.
On. Let me go get what I need to get before we even begin.
Don't even play the trailer, bro. We don't need.
We got to.
I'll be back. I'll be right back, gentlemen. Play the trailer. Play the trailer.
All
Play the trailer.
Right. Now you got to be here for it.
Hold on. I'm coming back.
Yeah. So we got a Mishima addition to the roster on the big Evo stage that none of us would have ever predicted, and it's only right that we play this clip because literally last pod, Tim and I were joking on S Rank about if they revealed Bakurama, we needed to see his reaction. Well, Harada hit the reverse Uno card, hit the Destiny draw, played Monster Reborn, and brought back someone we would have never, ever, ever expected. So I'm going to just, cut to a key part in the trailer that was revealed over the weekend. I'm gonna play it a little bit ahead of time because there were a couple of story elements that I do think is worth discussing. But we all know what we're here for, so I'm just gonna go ahead and play it.
Unamused.
The video game definition of I lived. I lived.
I'll start it off.
Please do. I've been waiting a week and some change to hear what you got to say about this, Tim. Please.
So I do feel like that does have me worried on multiple fronts because first of all, Street Fighter V and Tekken 7 were very strong pinnacle story moments. It was very good pinnacle moments of where the story is actually progressing to a certain degree. And because it was centered around, main villain's death, both of them. But now I just kind of feel like due to where we stand now with bringing Bison back and bringing back Heihachi, you have just introduced a level of, well, where does this story end and where do we even go? And you kind of made me just feel like, well, is there no consequences at all? Because when you really look at it, for example, Bison, I'm tired of the story of there was some spare body that he did some Orochimaru transfer your brain waves to. And then now this thing with Heihachi with all these death situations, like, all right, it's like, bro, you fought your son to the pit, like to the final blow where his fist stopped your heart. And you were thrown into lava. Like when you look at the fight, Kazuya saw you. But my thing about it is, so you mean to tell me that Kazuya could die by lava in Tekken 2? Because that's how he actually died. He actually died in Tekken 2. He was resurrected for Tekken 4. So my thing about this is that, so how is it that with Kazuya, who's still a main story character, there are consequences for him, but with Heihachi it's not. And then the thing that I hate about all of this stuff is that you're just adding characters, but then we're not really subtracting from what we already have. It's like, all right, for example, with Street Fighter, you brought in this Shadowloo X accountant with psycho power, but then now you bring back the main guy. And then now the same thing with Tekken. You bring in this character who has a connection to Heihachi, but then now you just bring him back. It's like, bro, now we're still in the same position. Like even in Street Fighter, all the villains are still alive, still there. Well, technically, Sagata's no longer a villain, but you still have Akuma, you still have Bison, you still got Gil to a certain extent.
Oh, he's coming back.
You still got Gil, you still have Seth, and it's like, so where's this story going? Like, and just like you just said, and like, how long are we going to see this feud continue? Like, where's the story going? And I kind of feel like it was a cop out moment. I do feel like it's mainly for sales, and he knows people are going to buy it just because of the hype,
Yep.
just because of the hype. Because he's doing this whole, oh, I'm the White Tiger Ranger power now type of get up. So like people
His
are just
chest
going
kind
to
of looks
buy
like
it.
his dad from Jin's granddad. Like that same
Even
like
that. So you
yeah.
mean to tell me I could kill my own father just by chaining him up in the basement and that's it? And then he dies, but then of course some demon took over and all that other stuff. But it's still the simple fact is, so you mean to tell me all these other members of my family, there's consequences for their death, but not mine?
Well, one of us had sex with a demon princess and one of us didn't. So there's that too. I have literal demon spawn children and one doesn't. Like I'm gonna play the devil's advocate a little bit here, just for argument's sake. What if at some point Capcom and the Tekken team decided that they didn't want to play by Mortal Kombat's rules anymore? And when I say that, Mortal Kombat, as S Rank said last spot, and we agreed with, Mortal Kombat's roster by definition is defined by its story. It's defined by this character. And not granted, yes, people revive in Mortal Kombat all the time, right? That's also death is just another portal, right? That's the quote they always have in those games. But a lot of the story is predicated by who survives and who doesn't, right? Noob Saibot's origin story predicates him beyond dying, essentially, or coming close to death, whatever the case may be. What if at some point, at the end of Street Fighter 5, going to Street Fighter 6, then the Tekken 7, going to Tekken 8, they're like, we don't want to be limited or restricted to the story defining who makes the roster. Because again, you have June in this game, and she might as well be a vision in the story. She has no fights. She plays no part in the game whatsoever other than to give, Jin angel powers. And yet she's a playable character. So to that you say?
Well, to be honest, bro, it's just I'm tired. I'm tired. Like, I really just want to see, like, all right, are you going to take this story seriously? Because to be honest, bro, and, to bring in some emphasis on Mortal Kombat is we're seeing the drawback of this story of being drawn out for too long.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mortal Kombat is technically on its second reboot. And we're seeing the overhaul of decisions that are being made is to compensate that, we're still here. So my thing for Street Fighter and Tekken is just like, bro, where is this going? Where is this going? So I mean, Street Fighter technically didn't give us no real story this round. So everybody just got to buy these characters and clap their hands. But then at least Tekken has given us some form of a cinematic story. I do kind of feel like Tekken story from what they shared in the trailer, it's kind of like leftover elements. Like, for example, you can tell Lydia is a main character in the story and is about like Heihachi killing her father. Now, that was in her bio information for Tekken 7. But then my thing about it is I kind of just felt like, all right, so Heihachi was already dead by that time. But I just kind of feel like you're using leftover elements that probably would have made sense in that game.
Yeah, but don't you think it's also them trying to course correct one of the complaints that we've given these games of like, if this character's still alive, what are they doing? Like they are like to some degree, like that is what Tekken's doing. Like, hey, this character is still alive, and this is what they were doing during this time.
So to speak. So to speak, man.
Yeah.
I was just annoyed.
That's why I'm asking these
I
questions,
really
bro. I'm
was.
asking
I
we
was
can't
really
critique them, and when they
annoyed,
give us what we
bro.
want, we get mad and not defend
It's
it.
like, bro, y'all just reneged like a game of spades, bro. And it's just like, wow. And it's the simple fact of the matter is, like, the marketing is there. People are already sold, man. They're already
Mm,
sold just by this trailer alone. Like, yes, technically, yes, Faku Ramen and Marduk, they are coming. People have even said that for, yeah, they may be in the data mines, but that's not determining which season that they are involved in.
true.
Now, the fourth character, I am a bit curious now because if you're launching this story DLC, which is supposed to, have the four characters of the first season involved, who is the last character?
Mm.
Now, and I'll be honest with you, bro, and they probably might do this just because I do not want to see a Devil Reina. I do not. I do not. I do not. I just kind of feel like, all right, it's like, all right, bro, we already had to deal with, Jin and Vegito Jin, but it's just like, but then the fact is, you had some of Devil Jin's moves with Basic Jin. I was like, why can't you just fuse them like you did with his father? But whatever.
Because money, Tim. Come on. Because
No, bro.
the SH figure art is not going to sell itself if she doesn't
It,
have a full
it,
character design.
nah, bro. It's that is just poor. That is just poor to me, bro. I mean, yeah, like it's like I want to see it to I want to see it to the end, and then like how you said, how like you said, at the end of whatever season pass that this may go up to, this might be a whole different game by the time of that end of that cycle. So
Mm,
we'll see. But it's just like wow. So now story wise, to be honest, you just kind of got to look at fighting games as mindless now, and that's the part that I don't like.
mm.
Yeah.
But that's why I asked that. Mm. No, yeah, no, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
They do. They do.
And Tekken looks at Street Fighter like Big Bro. I'm gonna say that once you're done with your point. It's sad. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, no, but you remember what Raven, but no, but remember what Raven said. It's already been a couple of months, like 2 to 4 months. Like that's how the time skip is. It's only like 2 to 4 months. So you mean to tell me within this time? I mean, especially after what he did with the whole satellite. So you mean to tell me this dude is just able to build a school with what money? With what money?
He might be a student, and but if we're gonna nitpick that, Jin, the terrorist, was allowed to participate in a worldwide martial arts competition. You can't pick
But
and
that's
choose.
and that's what I'm saying, bro. Like they're
The
starting to do.
global terrorist was allowed to go. Like,
They're starting to do a lot of mindless things, bro. It's just kind of like, oh, bro, this starting to get a little bit too campy right now. Because you mean to tell me Kazuya is the only voice of reason here? Like, oh, hey, yeah, you good now?
I mean, Kazuya also absorbed a demon on national television, and nobody said anything.
I mean, but you expected that of Kazuya, so it's kind of like. But Kazuya is like, no, well, I didn't go start a war around the world just to summon this dude.
fair, fair. But Ezra, go ahead. You were saying. Right. Oh, two terrorists, the terrorist family. You're right. You're right. Heihachi was bad. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, we're here. Heihachi crawled out the volcano. Why not? Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a redemption. Yeah, like, mm, I figured it out. He looks younger. It's too early to say though, right? Because we already had our theories about MK, and it was just like, we got an older looking, definitely an older looking Takeda in that promotion, and they're like, oh no, just kidding, retcon. So it could change before yeah, before he's revealed. Mm, 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 mm. Denki Hadouken that led, yeah. I mean, they turned him to Zombie Man. Yeah, he's Zombie Man. So, hmm. And Harada even said, like, he's like, I intended to keep him dead. I did not. Mm. Well, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I will. I will say that this starts to have the Frieza effect on
Yes.
both these franchises. And for people who are
Yes.
watching and listening who don't get the reference, in Dragon Ball Super they bring back Frieza. Frieza was one of the most iconic villains in Dragon Ball history, and each time he's been brought back, his status as like the villain gets worse and worse and worse. He's still Frieza. The personality is still there. He's still the character we know, but his impact just gets less and less and less. And I do feel like, after like laughing and, kind of getting the jokes part out, like I do think like, I wonder if this starts to open the door of diminishing returns as far as like what Tim said, which is a fair point of like, are we getting to a point now where all of these things story wise are meaningless, right? Is the point of these two franchises now to just tread water, right? Give you the same familiars for the next 10 years. And regardless of what happens in the story, this person will be here.
No, I don't think that's gonna. I think our voices are gonna speak loud. I don't think it's gonna go that route because, to be honest with you, fighting games. I got into Tekken because of the story,
which is amazing because I could not follow the story for at least the first 5 games personally.
Yeah, I could. But yeah, I got in for the story. Now the gameplay keeps you. Like these things are ecosystems. You can't technically have one without the other, man. You're like, yeah, okay, I gotta. You can, but I'm telling you, man. Like
it worked for a decade for both franchises.
With what? Not having a solid
stagnant story. Yeah, Street Fighter treaded water for at least more than 10 years.
Yeah, but Street Fighter's fan base is kind of different, right? I think with Tekken, bringing back Heihachi versus bringing back with Heihachi is more of he's one of the it's like who do you have after Aizen?
He's Frieza.
Yeah,
he's Frieza.
How do you have?
It's the Frieza. It's the Frieza effect, bro. And people they're just scared to really move on, bro. And that's the part that has me such angry because I did kind of feel like they were doing a solid job with building the story. Like outside of this character, like you were tying up some loose ends. There's no more Devil Gene, but not so fast. Here's another Devil Gene, but then who's the mysterious girl? And it's like, bro, come on, like, where do you see this going? And then that's why I said, to myself, like, bro, like they've gotten to the point where literally Street Fighter V basically had a 20% story.
Yeah.
And it's like, that goes to show you, bro, they did not know what to do.
Well, Street Fighter storyline is more is in a worse state. They didn't have anything to. You know what I'm saying? Tekken is more at you can follow it. You can follow the Tekken story. Street Fighter, you can't. You don't know what's going on in Street Fighter.
Yeah, because it's the typical Capcom formula. Oh, 4 is technically part 2. Part 5 is technically part 1. Oh, bro, did y'all not build a roadmap in y'all heads?
No, they didn't. They did not.
They didn't.
They did not.
They didn't.
I think Tekken takes their story more serious because they see what's happening with Mortal Kombat, right? But Mortal Kombat, no. Listen. Mortal Kombat fumbled this one. So now they're like, yo, you know what? Let's not fumble the next one. Mortal Kombat destroy. I've never seen a reboot.
Everything you guys keep saying keep bringing me back to my question. Do you guys feel like maybe these two franchises are like, well, we're seeing what's happening in Mortal Kombat, how it's doing them more harm than good to let the story dictate their roster. Let's just tread water. Yeah, it's maybe not what people want to see lore-wise, but at least we don't run into what they're running into over there where they're on, sinking ship damage control for the next 3 years.
How hard is it to hire a writer? These stories aren't hard to write at all, man.
But this goes back. No, you're definitely right, and they're definitely moving into that direction. That's why I am saying, man, it is time to end these stories and to move on to something else, man. It is. It really is time. It's time to move on to other IPs, spiritual successors. It is time to move on, bro. Because just like how and you said it, like when you start something new, there's so much space for you to grow. There's so many things that you could try, like which we could go in, to the next topic of the Tekken reveal. Well, actually, was that? Yeah, that was after EVO. Yeah, but it's the simple fact of the matter is, I do feel like it is time for us to end these stories. I do feel like it is time for them to reach their final closing and to press on and to move on to something else, man. It really is. Because with Street Fighter, I'm at the point I just want Akuma to win. Whatever he wants.
Technically, hasn't he? Like him and Ryu never had that rematch, and clearly Ryu's nothingness led to nothing.
A
Yeah,
bum.
right. Like
He's
it
a
led to
bum.
nothing significant. So
He is a bum.
Akuma's one in my eyes. Like that's my headcanon.
And it's crazy because it's like they don't want Ryu anymore. I don't know why you wouldn't want Ryu anymore, but okay, I'll accept it. Batsu is the best candidate for a replacement for Ryu,
or just anyone else that is part of the Revel's youth.
They're
Like
definitely not going to give it to Sean.
No,
anymore.
Not Sean, but we say it all the time. You have Sakura, Yang, Yoon.
Yeah.
People love those characters.
Yeah.
Do anything with them. Anything.
No.
They threw Yang and Yoon's cousin into the game and people like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it was like, yo, why didn't you just put Yang and Yoon? Why put a third party in there out of nowhere? You know what I'm saying? It's a little weird.
These things just don't, like, he could have been, Jamie should have been DLC. That makes more sense.
It's a little weird.
A lot of this stuff was just, I'm like, wait, so what?
Yeah.
So I think with the Tekken reveal, listen, I knew the Tekken. If you brought back Heihachi, nobody would complain. But for me, I'm like, I like Heihachi, right? I wouldn't have been mad if they gave him like DLC, but they treated him like a bonus character. I would have been okay. He has no story. He's just there. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You want Heihachi? Boom. Call it a day. I would have been okay with that. Maybe, give him a funny cutscene here and there, but that has no tie into the actual story.
Right. His arcade ending be him having dreams in the afterlife.
Or you can unlock him, you feel me? Or you can unlock him. And for me, it's just like, I'm worried and I'm not worried because I feel like it's going to go two ways because I'm like, yo, your story's pointless. Well, I'm not going to play. We don't play it because your story's pointless. Your story doesn't go anywhere. And if you're a company, you're like, oh, well, dang, we probably got to. Because you can make your story great. Look at Tekken Force. Make it work. You could do it. You could make that DLC. And people, you talking about you want to bring in more casuals. The casuals play for the story, believe it or not.
They are including story. And
the thing is, even with you're including story, but where's the story gonna go? The resurrection of Heihachi, or Heihachi's resurrected, but now we have a bigger threat?
Yeah.
I hope so. Right? If you bring back Ogre, then I'm gonna be like, man.
Like I said, it could be the era of diminishing returns. It could be. Man. I'm always for like new, fresh ideas, but I think that we might be here with this. We might.
I think they should introduce. I'm just saying, if this is the best case scenario, because we obviously not going to get what we want. They introduce Kazumi's family. Because it doesn't make any sense.
There have been hints about that.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense.
That is something that I would like to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense, guys. Like, you mean would be
great if you moved away from the Mishima storyline. But go ahead.
And no, here's what you do: you leave away from the Mishima storyline. You give people a break. And then you end it all. You feel me? And then you end it all to get tired. So that way everybody wins. That's the only way I would fix a mistake if they would have hired me. Hey, SSS Rank, we want you to come on board and fix our storyline. How would you fix MK? Number one, I'd kill Havoc, the second chapter, and introduce the Rebel.
We're about to get to Mortal Kombat in a second.
Goodness.
But Tekken.
I feel like it can go two ways because, one, it's not... Okay, bringing back Heihachi, you got one person out the way, right? But it didn't overall stop the story of Tekken. So that's just me analyzing truly. Now, second thing is, I was gonna focus on I was under the impression it was gonna focus on Kazuya and Jin, and it got there. Mm-hmm. And so now what's gonna happen now that they don't have no devil genes? I think it's gonna come back. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be interesting if they never get it back. That'd be fire.
It'd be better if they never get it back. Personally,
it'd be better if they never get it back. But If Ogre comes back, what do you think is gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? The Mishimas all absorb the power. Oh, I see it. I see the writing already, man. Hey, listen. Mark this date. If I get this right, Ogre comes back. The Mishimas come together and they beef all together as a family, and that's how the Mishima storyline ends. I need
to do the grandfather, father, son,
electric fist, 200,000 subscribers. Give me 200,000 subscribers. Place this on the
electric fist.
I guess the story mode, yeah, right. And then after they defeat Ogre, then you see a shadowy figure. The Mishima families have rise to power now in unity.
No,
and it's time for the.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to see one emerge from the shadows. None of that. Nope.
That's what's gonna happen, kid. Then we gonna get our boy, who's Grand Raven now. He said, "Yo, y'all ruined my resume. This time, we gonna work with the Mishimas to get it out of there. Heihachi Mishima is alive, or they nuke him. I don't know. You know, they bring back Master Raven. Best case scenario, it'd be crazy if Master Raven's the next character. Y'all boys, they actually changed the data mine. They changed the data mine, but
be a reach. Well, all right, go handle what you can handle.
Heihachi was a reach a long time ago, and look what happened. Heihachi was a grand reach.
It's not a reach. We weren't even thinking about him.
No, but that was a reach. That's still a reach.
We thought he was dead.
I was thinking about Heihachi coming back. I was like,
he's dead. Why would I even give him any thought?
He's coming back.
But speaking of something that did get a release date and its announcement at San Diego Comic-Con, we did. Now, prior to this recording, we didn't have any Mortal Kombat coverage because it was going to come after we recorded, but things happened to work out, and we got our Chaos Reigns MK1 story mode / character expansion for the game. Now, obviously, we've spoken about it at length for weeks in the chat that there was numerous leaks that were hinting at where the story was going, what was happening with certain characters. And this trailer basically confirmed everything that was in the leaks, like one for one, basically. So although this is a longer trailer, I do think it is a trailer that's worth discussion. So, we can feel free to throw in your opinion as we're watching it, because we've all seen it at this point. And let's see what Chaos Reigns brings. S-Rank, I'm definitely interested in your opinion, seeing how you were championing for Havoc prior to the game's release.
I was.
And you also got what you wanted.
I did.
But laws, no divine rules. I choose what is right. I hold the power. And I choose to bless all beings everywhere with anarchy.
This new Havoc is different from ours. He doesn't want freedom. He wants to burn everything down.
Let real warriors handle this.
S-Rank asked for Chaos Realm. This was red flag number 1 for me.
Red flag number 1.
Unbreakable.
I feel like I'm watching Overwatch.
I feel like I'm watching Overwatch. Black Panther 2. when Ironheart shows up.
Oh my goodness.
And the bodyguards in the armory, I'm like,
Chaos.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Tim, you was right. I thought he was using shadow and ice powers, but I didn't realize he was fighting a dimensional.
Yep.
I don't like this new sidebar. He belonged in World of Warcraft.
But he's Ed Boon's favorite character, so can't not have him.
First Shang Tsung, now this Havoc?
This will be amusing.
The wild part is, given Mortal Kombat 1's history of doing things, we're gonna have all this just for Havoc to have the same exact moveset.
Never cease. Tell me, how do we escape this crisis?
It disgusts me. Oh, you've corrupted the Lin Kuei.
Make no mistake, we are here because of your treachery.
How many times does this Sub-Zero gotta die?
Well, we don't know if he's dead.
Will be blood.
We don't know that he's dead. We just know he's been modified.
Losing your arm? He just lost his arms.
Do you
My new Cybot.
scary movies?
Well, we'll talk about it in a second. No. It's like
They paid for that on the Schwarzenegger, boy. They paid for that.
Chaos Reigns, September 24th this year.
All right, who's the gorilla?
We don't know, but we know who it better not be. Now I know we've been slandering MK1, but this is fire. I'm glad that they brought these back. To be honest with you, they look great.
We can't show this part on the clip, can we?
Oh, you saw the last part? I edited out Takeda's whole thing with the smooth sensor.
That's so weak. That's so
I thought that was fire.
lame, dog.
I thought that was fire.
Oh no, not the animalities. They're decent. Yeah, I mean they're gruesome.
Yeah, the way they should be.
They're like the worst fear. Yeah, worst fear ever, right?
The way they should
A
be.
gorilla's your dentist. Yeah, okay.
So first, we got to let S Rank get his thoughts off because he was the one arguing this down to him in the
my
chat leading up to
goodness.
release about Havoc needs more of this. Havoc needs a bigger role in the story. We don't get the chaos
Yeah,
from
no.
enough.
Yeah. The thing is, like, you already had it written down, right? Like you already had it on paper. That's what I was hoping for. Not this. Let me blend up my storyline and piece together sentences. Oh, no, that's not what I was asking for. Like the whole scene where there's a whole bunch of Havocs acting like no, what are you doing?
Wasn't a
No,
good look,
that's
I'm
not
gonna
what.
hold you.
And this is not even the Havoc that's good. This Havoc is whack, man, compared to the Havoc that you met in Deception. Like that Havoc had a purpose, a sinister purpose, and he had a decent motive. Even the voice actor was like brought him a different uniqueness. He didn't have that voice that everybody. Now he looks like he talks like that. You get what I'm saying?
Fair.
Havoc did not sound like that. You look at Havoc and you're like, yo, this guy's actually. He has like a little baneness to him, like some wisdom. He has a lot of wisdom, in fact. It's just how he goes about it. Is that what makes him terrifying, right? He had an Eisen complex to him. He was a thinker. He was a man. He was philosophical. The scene where I let you see, like, yo, Havoc, why did you make me do all this thing? Why did you make me? He said, if I'd have told you the truth, you would not attack me as if I was trying to take your life. If I tried to take your life and you let me take it, then it would have proved to me that you weren't worthy. That's a very chaotic way, right? Like he was like a Tyler Durden from Fight Club, and that was like, yo, Tyler Durden made a lot of sense in the way he moved. You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't like. Why would you throw that all away? Yeah, Havoc's back, but I didn't want Aztec, Aztec Kodokan Fusion Havoc with the Galactus helmet. Like he borrowed it from a Celestial. Like I didn't want, and he turned into a Celestial. Yeah, like I didn't ask for that. I'm like when I saw Chaos Havoc, I was like, no, like guys, listen, this is not what I asked for. You feel me? I want Robert Downey Jr. to come back, but not as Doctor Doom. What?
Fair. Good comparison,
Right?
actually.
You feel me?
Great comparison.
I want, yeah, and it's just not. That's not what I asked for. You had a perfect formula, and you ruined it. You ruined it when you tried to put all 10 Mortal Kombats in one.
So it's safe to say that the story expansion trailer did
The
nothing
story's done.
for you.
Did you
Okay.
see the Kang the Conqueror reference? Where you
I
gonna
did.
go with that?
I did.
Kang talking with Kang? You think I care about that? It's like I've seen Agent. You're not gonna do it better than Agent Smith, man. You're not gonna make it more of a dire. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? There's like it would have been more terrifying if it was noob cybots going around, shadow cloning people. That would have been more terrifying. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, than this. Like now he could hold up to Fire God Liu Kang. He's scrapping with all three of the Master Ninjas. Okay.
Well, technically, this is Titan.
Yeah.
Oh, Titan.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Titan Havoc. It's not just any Havoc.
And how did he beat? How did he beat? Okay.
Well, that was one of the writing shortcomings of the original game. Of there's technically a universe in which every single character of the roster is a Titan in their own universe. All of them were able to beat Chronica and slash Shang Tsung. I'm not saying it was a great idea. I'm just saying that's what happened. Like this is a result of that writing. Of like we're expanding on that idea. But Mikkel, what do you think of this trailer and rollout for this next season pass?
It's definitely the definition of what we were talking about and the multiverse madness. You could tell like there's some sense of copying from Marvel, of course, with the Council of Havocs. The gender swap in the Cyrex and Sector, I'm actually not mad about it. Because when it comes to the multiverse of madness, there has to be some stark contrast, and I feel like those two were very safe choices because when you really look at ever since from their reintroduction from MK9, there've just been too many back and forths with them. The whole Triborg thing, because they had the split system with different play styles, and then they were NPCs the next game. Is just kind of like, bro, what is going on?
And had a moveset.
And then the thing about it is, I actually like the fact that they're actually wearing suits because it actually gives me like a modernized Foot Clan. Like, yes, they said that Sector is a cybernetic genius, and when you look at Bihan's story, he said he wanted to take the Lin Kuei further, but he said we still have to act like ninjas. We can't just show up in places, be so broad. So yes, we're going to fuse our ninja elements with science. So yes, these are suits, and these are probably for the first two prototypes. And Ed Boon has taken a lot of like inspiration from the Predators, hence the mask.
Oh, definitely.
So like the ninja elements of the mask, like with the icons and everything, it fits to me. Now my thing about it is, I only care about this story because I don't want you to do all of this, hype us up, for you to just kill them off, or they just become no longer relevant. Now, yes, it definitely did remind me of Black Panther 2 at the end. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, this is very close. But then, like I said, bro, it's the multiverse of madness. Now, this Havoc, I am interested because the dude showed up with like Omega Shinron with all the Kami Dogu in his chest. I was like, oh, so we bringing these back? Oh,
I didn't realize that. Wow.
I was like, okay.
That's kind of sick.
So that means outside of being a Titan, he went to conquer each realm to get the Kami Dogu from each particular realm. So I'm looking forward to that. The only thing that I am a bit like a little bit downward is the once again death of Bihan, because a lot of people did like the fact like
if he's dead, he may not be dead.
If he's dead, yeah. A lot of people did like the fact that he's still alive, and now we are able to see more of his persona as just Sub-Zero. Because I tell people all the time that last MK movie, he was the best character.
Yes, by far.
This is what the elder Sub-Zero was. Dude was cold-blooded, a boogeyman. Like, bro, when he froze Jack's arms and ripped Jack's arms apart, it's like, bro, yes.
Bro, he murdered Scorpion's wife and child in the opening 5 minutes of the movie.
But if the movie had ended right there, bro, I would have been satisfied.
It should have just told the story of. I was like, yo, why didn't y'all just focus on Scorpion and Sub-Zero clans, and then we would have been at peace. And I would have. We didn't need no. What's his name? Kai, whatever his name is.
Whatever his name is.
What's his
He
name?
you know what sucks? He's gonna be in the game.
Cole Young.
Yeah, Cole Young. Yeah. So
Cole.
I mean, to get back to that, it's just like, all right, yeah, we're seeing Noob Saibot again, but it's cool and all. I like the new design, and technically now he's a Chaos Realm Spectre versus a Nether Realm one. So it's kind of like, all right, is you going to show different moves?
All right. I'll be fair. That's a good.
Or is he just going to be the same portal hopping shadow clone jutsu type of
Scarecrow
character?
chain type, yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm looking forward to see what they do with that. Now the guest characters.
Well, before that, let me get my opinion on the actual story first, and we'll get to the guest characters together.
We gotta light up the guest characters.
Yeah, y'all like to omit me out of these things and just jump to the fire already.
My bad. My bad, man. We see quiet, bro.
Yeah, because I want to let y'all get y'all bars off first. I feel like with this, I mean, with you guys, as far as what you guys elaborate with the story, I do think I'm somewhere in between. Like I'm with Tim as far as like I do think they're doing interesting things with Havoc. Maybe not what I would have liked as far as, again, I don't think it just reminds me a lot of when we got the MK11 Aftermath and you're fighting like Titan Shang Tsung, only for his moveset to be exactly the same, right? And then you're fighting against him with Titan Liu Kang, only for him to have a different colored fireballs. Like that's the one aspect of the game I'm like, I'm not too crazy about. Yes, he's gonna have the Infinity Stones in his chest and have the same exact moveset. So it's gonna regardless of what happens story wise, it's gonna feel like it steps on the importance of Havoc because he's gonna fight exactly the same. He might have one or two new things for like a boss level exclusive, but it's not gonna be anything of like here's a completely new Titan, fully powered up, Onaga possessed version of like Havoc, which I think would have been a good idea. That being said, I do think in terms of them doubling down on it being the focus of the 3D era, picking Havoc as the antagonist makes sense. Like, we do want to see them kind of give the 3D era more attention. They did Shang Tsung again in the story. Again, it wasn't the best, but we've done this whole Liu Kang Shang Tsung dance a million times already. What other characters that you guys introduced over the years that warrant being primary antagonists? I think Havoc was the best choice. I think Rain would have been a good choice too, honestly.
Plus Havoc was name dropped in the Aftermath story. So people thought maybe he was going to eventually come in 11.
Right. Which he might have if they hadn't stopped the DLC. For all we know, we could have gotten Havoc in 11. So I think to shoot them some bail, I think in terms of what they were looking to focus on in this game, this was good in that way. Now, the execution remains to be seen, right? We might hit play on the YouTube cutscene and be like, well, way to fumble it again, right? The layup was right there and you dropped it again. But we'll see. When it comes to Cyrax and Sector, Tim, I'm with you. I think if you're going to gender swap any characters, they make the most sense. Especially the rebooted version of like, they basically have no backstory outside of 9. So making them women, I ultimately feel like it would have been better just to introduce new Lin Kuei characters, personally, in my opinion. Like, I don't see why they couldn't have just introduced more women. Like, Frost has become a staple, and we're not like, just get her out of here. She's just, Sub-Zero light, right? But again, if you were like, we have to switch out these characters, I can, RIP, I guess, the male version of Sector and Cyrax. Again, I said what I said about the costumes, like their suits. Feels a little MCU inspired, which I think was weird. I do like the fact that they're not robots anymore, and they're wearing suits. It's cool. Cyrax being black with an accent, I'm like, we'll see. All right, but I think ultimately it's
Cyrax always had an accent, even in
not really.
Maybe this is something that they corrected because when you look up the original Cyrax's bio, he's from Botswana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, let's look like a Jamaican.
No,
it feels Black Panther. It feels Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It feels very Black Panther.
Right. So that's why I think that's also part where I'm kind of like, do we have to go so on the nose with you already look like
why should we be surprised? Did you see the Killmonger Hellcat Rain? Like, people just don't understand, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, it could be something where like the intentions were there, but the execution was lacking. So I'm not gonna kill them over that. I think ultimately, in terms of what they're bringing for this next installment of characters, Mortal Kombat characters, they did a good job. People have been asking for Cyrax and Sector to be playable for like 5 years now. So them coming back, granted as DLC, I think it makes sense of like here are characters that people will actually be willing to pay for from the MK point. What Tim said was true also. There might be enough variations of a noob where like, okay, it feels fresh enough for me to want to spend my money. And, as a layaway, let's say you don't want any of these things, you're still getting animalities for the entire roster for free. Right? You can't really be mad at that. Like, you can tell that NetherRealm and Ed Boon really want to go on like damage control and try to save this game a la Street Fighter V. And now we can cook up the guest characters. Ghostface, Conan the Barbarian, and the T-1000 from Terminator, aka the homage to the different eras of MK, the sci-fi era, the horror era, and the 80s action star era. If, I like to pose certain questions, guys. If this is what Ed Boon comes to the creative team table and says, hey, we need a character from these 3 genres, are you on board for these or no? Feel free to answer either one.
I mean, to be honest, bro, like it's tough. It really is tough. Yeah, Ghostface. I understand why they picked him because, especially with the revival of the Scream series, the T-1000, it would have been cool for MK11.
Yes.
But then I thought about it. It's like, but bro, what are the animations are gonna look like when you're hitting the T? Because when you look at the movie, shotgun to the face, and it's like, but then what is this going to look like?
Yeah, he looked like a crushed soda can when you shoot him in the face.
And then it's like, yeah, Conan the Barbarian, that's cool. I kind of felt like, well, you're kind of just hinting like, all right, well, is Kodo Khan going to be in this iteration, or is this going to be a template for the future Kodo Khan? Because you already know he's coming back. You already know. And they're gonna drop that lovers together pack with Jade and Kodo.
And not to fully interrupt, but like, do we also start to? Is there a part where we're like, I think, are we getting a little dated with some of these like movie references of like, yeah, we all 3 of us know who Conan the Barbarian is, but he's a little bit out of our age range. Yeah, technically, we're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you targeting the 40-year-old? Like, is that why we put like we all know RoboCop also, but RoboCop's a little bit closer. But I'm like, Conan the Barbarian? Like, what's next? Like,
well, those are probably those are probably his personal list, man. When you think about it, those are his treats. Those are his personal. Those are he's
his
probably
bucket list.
That's what made Mortal Kombat. Look at the era. You could tell Conan is Chief Thunder from KI. You feel me? So that was the super inspiration. Look at Apollo Creed is technically DJ Combo. Like when you look at the design or whatever, infused with Mr. T and whatever. So it's definitely that's definitely Fulgore. Who is Fulgore, guys? You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely the inspiration. Even though those are his personal, I promise you, if Jean-Claude Van Damme is another guest character skin and he is Time Cop or any other character or Universal Soldier,
yeah, but we'd all be fine with that because Ed Boon's been very vocal of like, there is no Johnny Cage without Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like, it's, I get it. Again, like, I get the bucket list aspect of it, but I'm like, I feel like with some of these 80s characters, I'm like, it's starting to like. Somebody on Twitter was like, yeah, man, it's sad to see all these guest characters go for people who are pushing 60. Yeah. I was like wow. No, but it's true. It's
and that's what I was saying. I was like, man, that's the kind of we like the thing is Conan didn't even get a reboot that made waves for people to even be like, oh my gosh, put Conan the Barbarian. Let me go back and watch. Rambo's been around consistently,
Rambo's still making movies, whether whether there should be a Rambo
Freddy
or
versus
not.
Jason. Yeah, Freddy versus Jason has covered eras. Kids know who Jason and Freddy are. So
They're still making Alien
yeah.
movies. They're still making Predator movies.
Still
Tim said in
making
the
Predator
chat,
movies.
Prey, right? Like that was a great Predator
Yeah, they
movie.
revived Predator with that film, and then I'm hearing Romulus is actually fire. From what people are saying, I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah,
it's a prequel.
Yeah,
But
like all of them.
Jeez,
God forbid we move the story forward. Yeah,
God for real, right? Then the aliens will start reading minds and talking. Like they have to go to the planet of the apes.
Right.
It just makes any sense. They're xenomorphs. Why not?
Right. All we need is another origin story again. But I just feel like with the guest characters, I don't know. They don't inspire a buy, if that makes sense. For me, I don't want to speak for y'all. And feel free to cut me off and chip in. But I'm like, I just don't look at Ghostface like, to Tim's point, like, yes, I get it. It fits in with the revival Scream. I'm like, I'm not like, I don't want to play as a human in a mask. There's nothing, at least with Freddy, he's demon related. Jason's a zombie. Yeah, like it's like Ghostface is a human being.
Yeah, even Leatherface made more sense because Leatherface is more like a heavy slasher character, bro. Because there were some combos with Leatherface was doing. I was like, bro, like this is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that stuff. But this pack is a miss. Yeah, stab. I know it's gonna sell in the UK. I'll tell you that. Ghostface is gonna sell in the UK.
And not only that, let's be for real. Like we know Mortal Kombat, like we know that they're good at like hand to hand combos. So, like we know like Ghostface combos are probably gonna look good. Like they're probably gonna do stuff with a knife that like look cool. But it's like, but do I want to play as Ghostface from Scream in Mortal Kombat? I don't. Maybe in horror villains the game, I would. But
now the T-1000, I think the T-1000 is going to play like MK11 Frost with the whole like I'm going to stab you through the head and then turn my whole spine around and just jab you like that. Because remember, yes, he was just all liquid, and he could do a lot of mobility type of stuff. Yeah, he's going to have the hook claws and stuff like that, but I feel like there's going to be some leftover elements from MK11 Cyborg Frost.
Okay,
I'll say he might fight like he might fight like a little bit of Triborg or Noob with the puddle, turning into the puddle, sliding in.
No, too many portals, bro. Too many portals.
Too many portals.
Got Quan Chi and Noob.
I know, but
too many portals. But then the thing about it is, he's never done portal like stuff before. Like, the puddle.
No, just transforming into okay. And that's how they even introduced him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're gonna have an introduction to where he,
Yeah, and I'm sure one of his fatalities will be him liquefying,
but not a move.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He'll be liquefying.
He might have mimic abilities. He might be able to shapeshift. That's gonna be wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see a little Terminator Easter egg in there, like he, so something with. Yeah, it's.
If this is special, I'll be okay.
Yeah,
if this is fatality,
I already said Blue Beetle Devourer. I think is going to be inspired in the moveset just from the appendages aspect of like being able to attack from like almost like a mid range because he can turn his arm into a blade.
Brainiac. What about Brainiac? You think?
Yeah, kind of. I think. I mean, we're also assuming that they may not draw inspiration. Maybe he'll be a totally original character. Would be nice.
Hopefully,
would be nice.
I feel like Conan is gonna fight like Kodo Khan if Kodo Khan doesn't make it.
Yeah, especially MK11's Kodo Khan. Like because I feel like MK11's Kodo Khan was a way step up from MKX. Like his combat wise was a level up. And I still like the real weapons combat. So
it's because they made him. He turned into Silverbolt.
Yeah,
he was Silverbolt, man. From Beast Wars, he was Silverbolt.
But he was better. All right. Any closing thoughts before you leave MK? Does this keep you guys even the sliver of hope that MK1 can redeem them? Okay.
Nope.
Tim,
you ended.
There's room. There's room for me to be interested to see. I want to see you ride this out.
Okay.
Yes, it definitely is. Especially especially some of the interesting dialogue that you hear from like Takeda and stuff like that. I'm interested to see where they take this series because they're name dropping a lot of people, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so where is this going? Because to be honest, and this is where I kind of feel like, these universes also need to explore more of their street level stuff. Like they keep going this cosmic route. Because y'all making the Red Dragon sound like very interesting characters with the Yakuza and all that other stuff. I want to see these people, bro.
Waste,
I want to see this stuff, bro. It's
It's just profile filling.
And then the
we just
reveal that Jax is part of like a almost MIB style force looking into them. It's like, oh, okay.
it's like, bro, like, come on, bro. Like, we can't keep doing this cosmic stuff for the long run anymore. It's kind of like, yeah. So now you got just the Nether realm is the kingdom of fairy tale creatures and all, and it's just Earth realms greatest whatever. But it's just like, bro, there's so much other avenues that you really could explore. And to be honest, in terms of like offline game modes, people have been asking like, hey man, we want a classic mode where there's no cameo characters.
Another
People
problem
have
I have.
suggested that.
Another problem I have with this DLC. Havoc has a rival.
Yeah. The what's his name?
Hotaru.
Yeah. Mm.
That would have been the most beautiful interpretation and modernization of characters. You got man, the land of order, and in the realm of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Hotaru is militant to the fourth power. There is no. He's like a force of nature with the law. Like, wait, you said you were gonna do it at 12 o'clock. You didn't do it at 12 o'clock. I have to kill you. And the way they introduced him, I was just like, man, he put Sujinko behind bars because he missed curfew. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had an order curfew, and it was just the most ridiculous thing for him going to jail. I think they probably didn't put him because, he saw Jax or whatever, but he's super militant, man. And I felt like he was the opposite of, they both represented something. He was Batman to the fourth power. Wait, what? What? You did what? You suggested what? Oh, nah, guilty. That whole realm of order.
Do something with them. They might.
Yeah, I don't think so. They didn't mention not a thing about Hotaru. You can't mention Hotaru and not mention Havoc. Like, even though they didn't write him that way. And when I played Deception, that's the land you go to right after you go from the land of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You see how crazy things are strict. And it makes you sigh like, man, maybe Havoc wasn't so bad, but the way Havoc's place was Havoc. It was unsettling. And that's one of my things why I'm so frustrated with the storyline, because like, man, I would have loved to see Hotaru in this timeline. I would have loved. They gotta explore more realms, man. They don't explore enough realms for me, man.
The only thing that I'll say, and then we can move on, is like I think they have to play it carefully, because what we've seen basically is the ripple effect of them doing too much at once. So it's like if they explore another realm, it's like, well, you already fumbled the few realms that you had to explore this game. Like, do I really want to see you guys, stumble your way through another 2 or 3 realms all at once just for you to drop the ball again? I don't know, right? Like, I'm not saying that they can't fix it along the way, but it just kind of seems like that's just outside the realm of their writing team, which is okay, right? I don't think you just because it's there, it means you have to do it. But I would like them for them to make more deliberate decisions, more deliberate character choices. I think, like, when we look back at, Season Pass 3, making Movado a cameo character with one of the wackest fatalities I've ever seen in the modern era, like, this was a mistake. Like, there's certain things where I'm like, why did you do this with these characters?
He doesn't even look cooler than he doesn't even look better than
weird, bro. Every time I see him, I'm like, why did they do this?
They turned him into Kano. He looked like he's related to Kano, man. Like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think ultimately I just want to see them kind of like, again, salvage the game. I don't know if Mortal Kombat 1. I mean, granted, it's still selling well, right? It's still selling fairly well despite all this. But I do want to see them kind of make more. I don't want to kick their back in every time we record. Basically, what I'm trying to say. Like every time we record, I'm like, time to jump Mortal Kombat 1 all over again.
I mean, they tripping though. They tripping, man. Like they tripping. They are tripping.
Yeah. So I'll guide us into our last topic for the night because I know we're running a little bit long. There was one other reveal that was done at EVO that I wanted to save because it kind of tied also into our anime topic for the night. Guilty Gear Strive announced season 4, and for their first time ever, they're doing a guest character in the Guilty Gear franchise. Now, there was an interview done by IGN with one of the producers of the game saying that at some point down the road, we will get insta kills back. I don't know when. And it's the way he phrased it, it made less sense because he's like, well, what we have to do for every character. It's like, well, if you keep adding characters, it's going to get harder and harder to add insta kills. But I digress. But yeah, we did get an announcement of, I think it was 4 new characters, actually.
4.
Yeah, 4 new characters that are coming to Guilty Gear Strive, a game that we honestly all thought was not going to make it to season 4, but people clearly like it enough to keep buying into it.
Especially when everything's bleeding into each other as far as looks.
True.
With new moves too, right? Crazy.
Yeah. And an anime announced.
Yes, that's true. And an anime announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Reina?
No.
No, I know that's not Reina.
Oh.
They just look exactly alike. It's crazy to me. They got to make up that money somehow, huh?
I'm not gonna hold you. Well, we'll talk about it when the trailer is done. But I'm like, that announcement made even less sense after watching the anime. To be honest with you,
I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's a cool. Yeah, I ain't really pressed about it. It didn't have to make like.
she was a damsel in distress the entire show. She has no abilities.
She does have the laser. I think it's a laser tripwire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And I know
the
she
wire.
has
The wire.
and I
fighting
know
style.
she has the fast animations where she could probably show up behind you. I mean, but then that's where people are saying it leaves up to imagination because I remember in the interview, the guy asked like, "Hey, why didn't you just choose David?"
Yeah.
But then they did say they're hinting to something bigger, so I know maybe it's a season 2 or maybe there's something bigger down the line that's going away. He said yes, this particular guest character is going to be opening up future doors. So I'm interested. I really am interested. I mean, it's interesting to see in CD Projekt Red in these different spaces as guest characters
Yeah.
like Geralt being in Soul Calibur. I tell people, bro, that makes sense. Seeing him on the cover versus Yoshimitsu, I was like, bro, this makes sense.
What a man, and they ruined it by not having a rollback netcode.
Yeah, but you still got your moment.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you did. No, that's an incredible 2B, Hotaro, Geralt of Rivia, man. Yeah, they actually had a Samurai Showdown character in there, so it's like, yeah, Hotaro. I think it's Wait, I think I spelled his name. I
Yeah,
said
yeah,
his name wrong.
yeah, bro. I think you.
Hanamaru. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hanamaru.
I was like,
Hamaru. Yeah.
I'm tripping.
Yeah. But
I was still thinking about MK. Sorry,
I mean,
guys.
for a season pass, I will say one thing for sure. Although like I haven't copped Guilty Gear Strive or played it, I want to say like for a season pass announcement, that's about as good as you can do for a fighter. Like you're getting new stages, a new gameplay mode, new costumes, and 4 new characters. It's like okay, like like it's
No, and tag battles.
yeah, as I said, a new gameplay
Yeah,
mode. Yeah,
yeah, that's crazy.
like oh, you guys miss Dragon Ball Fighters? We do too. Here's tag battles. Oh, wow, thanks. Like,
Wow.
so what did you guys think about the? Well, Tim, you kind of already said it in terms of like this bigger push for, I guess, the cyberpunk universe, right? It kind of hints that maybe CD Projekt Red is not allowing the embarrassment that was the initial release of Cyberpunk 2077 to hinder what they had, long game as far as that franchise goes.
Yeah, like I said, bro, I have faith in people. Like I tell people, bro, No Man's Skies
Is a
prove to
redemption
me
story like no other.
don't underestimate, bro. People could turn things around, man. And I did feel like yes, what I felt what went wrong with the game originally was the hardware. I kind of felt like it was at the end of like that PS4. Like yes, there's just certain things you can't do on this system anymore. Like how you said with The
Yep.
Last of Us, bro. Your thing was
Crying for help.
it pushed it beyond the limits, man. So like yes, when I heard there was
Metal Gear
going to be a
Solid 4
PS5
oven.
version, I was just waiting for that. I was just waiting like yes, this is a big universe game and we already know how that works. I was like, yes, I'm gonna wait for the PS5 version, and then even better, I waited for the Ultimate Edition with everything in it. So I'm just waiting for that. So I mean, seeing that trailer made me watch the anime, and I enjoyed it, bro. I enjoyed that highly, bro. So and remember, like I said, whenever they do these multiple properties, you could tell like they're trying to do more with this. It's
Yes.
not going to just be this one and done thing. So whatever this opens up for the future, like yes, we may see this Lucy in this design from her anime, but to be honest, they might say like, no, no, bro. After she survived X, Y, and Z, this is who she becomes.
Maybe she gets her
Never
hands on
know.
an implant of herself and she starts her runner deep dive basically.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just you never know, and you already know that Cyberpunk stage about to look fire.
Of
You already
course.
know. You already know.
It was a beautiful, like we could talk about the anime. Like that's part of the reason why I brought this up as a topic. I think, like I said in the group chat, I liked everything else. I pretty much liked everything. The characters, the writing, the world, except for the ending. I thought the ending was a little contrived. To be honest, unspoiler alert to anybody who hasn't watched it yet, who's listening to the podcast, I don't even mind that most of the cast dies at the end. I don't even mind that David died. It was just how he went out. I'm like, fam, come on.
I'm special.
I get you. When you mention it like that, go ahead and share your view. The reason why you had a problem with it. I think people need to.
Well, no, I think it goes with what Tim says. It's like I'm special. Like he has this over inflated sense of self-importance of like I'm the exception to these rules and therefore I can do these things. However, I think
Maine had the same problem.
Right, Maine had the same problem. I think the death of Maine should have in some way flicked the light switch of like no one is exempt from this. Right? Maybe he still ends up going down this road slowly but surely where he's not realizing. But it kind of seems like the death of Maine, because again, it's like a short time skip afterwards of like, it seems like Maine's death caused you to double down on getting more parts. So I'm like, rather than using him as a cautionary tale, you're like, well, I'm special. It only happened to him because he's not special. It doesn't matter what I do to my body. So by the time you get to the end, it's like, bro, David don't even have a lower half anymore. Like
Bro.
his eye gets punched out and there's nothing there. I'm just like, what? Like, it just kind of felt like, I get it. I understand that like he wasn't supposed to survive. It just felt like the growth of his character kind of came to a complete halt. And he's just like, I'm just a piece of the cog. I'm here for the cause. I have no greater like
Yeah. I mean, I
ambition.
feel like, but the thing is, that's the sick part, right? The more and more he took, he became that though. The more and more he released of himself.
Mm-hmm.
He only had the girl, the memories of the girl, and when they went against Militech, good golly, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was yeah, I think that was probably what they were aiming for. Maybe I'm stretching because it kind of goes hand in hand. The more of the parts that he got rid of, the less human he became.
Yeah.
The more and more he became. He said, "Yo, I'm just a part of the cog, man. I'm
Yeah.
just looking out for number one." You know.
Yeah.
And then the cyber psychosis probably helped him in a way. He stayed connected.
Yeah, but I just felt like, again, given the death
Yeah.
of Maine, like that's the thing for
Yeah,
me where I'm like,
that was
I'm
like-
not I'm not following your thought process here. It's like you
This should have changed your
It
life.
should have like I'm gonna pivot here, so I don't.
I'm going to church.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
You
going to
survive
church.
one last shootout. You're like, you know what? The streets are not for me.
I think the reason why he kept going was the death of his mother, where he felt so
Yeah,
helpless.
that's another
He felt
thing.
so helpless, and then the way
He
the
doesn't wanna
bully
feel-
treated him afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It was the simple fact that this bully probably just uploaded a file in his head about fighting styles, and yes, embarrassed me at school. So it's just that trauma. And remember, he was still a kid. Still a kid. So kid logic, I don't want to become this helpless ever again. So yeah, like, when he was like, "Oh, what jobs you got for me? I'm here for it all." It's because, like, think about it, man. This dude literally just dropped out of school. Dropped out of school, become
Jeez.
some street level mercenary. It's just like, and this is what you do. It's like one time your spine is gone, the next thing you know, your lungs are gone. And I'm like, oh no, no, no. And then you could tell after when he was training with her, he just did more and more. Because it's like, how can I keep up if I don't do this? Because to be honest, you can't.
Yeah, you got addicted. You got
Because
addicted for sure.
Because when you really looked at that whole crew, it's like
None of them were.
like the girl whole mouthpiece is gone.
Mm-hmm.
The girl and her brother is like all
Their
their
arms are all
hands,
just
all of that is
triple
gone.
jointed. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like to be honest, the most level human was Falco,
Yeah.
the driver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
always, right?
even he had a replacement arm.
He,
like
he had a replacement arm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
that was it. That looked like that was it. And then of course Maine had, all this stuff. His girl was heavily altered too, but it was just a simple fact. And
To
then
the point she don't need to wear pants.
yeah. And then Lucy, of course, she had the whole Neo Matrix
Rebecca,
thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no,
Lucy, the
Lucy.
other girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like, it's like there's no way this kid who just got one spinal implant is just gonna keep up, even though what he already has
was
is
the cheat code to
military.
the max.
Even though that was already military grade technology, it's the simple fact is what they keep saying is when you take away one thing, you gotta get two more to compensate. Because yes, you're running at super fast speed, but bro, your lungs can't keep up with that because
It
you're
was
human.
killing you.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, but then if you keep running at this speed, your rib cage is gonna go out. Oh,
Right.
get rid of those. It's like, bro,
You need knees that can support that running. Might as well get some-
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So
it's like
No, but
it's
that's
like
the
mo- it's
reaction
like the
they
moment-
want, man.
And it was also it's like an addiction. It's like the moment that you start, there's no turning back.
yeah, I think at one point one of the characters call him like a chrome junkie. Like he's addicted to the never ending aspect of self improvement. So like I said again, I follow it. I think the deeper message was there. I got it. I was just
hold
like,
up. Tim, you forgot one thing too. Not to cut you off. Adam Smasher. Look at him.
That's
Look at the unit he became.
yeah,
That's the final product.
Yes.
That's what
The
you
final
become.
product. Rudimentary. Oh, my heart dropped
When
when
David
I
started
saw
moving,
how
he started moving too.
when
I
I
was
saw
like,
how
yeah.
Rebecca died. Yeah, when I saw what happened to Rebecca, I was like, "Oh my soul left my body." I said, "Wait, just like that?" And
No,
Because to be honest, bro, the probably the only thing left of him is probably his brain.
Yeah. Everything else was enhanced. So, like again, it's not one of those things where like it's not one of those things where like the ending was so bad that I'm like, no, the whole anime was pointless. I think it was really good.
Man, when you put it that way, I see why you're angry.
Yeah,
I didn't like it either.
Yeah,
because I was just like, man, this is depressing.
Yeah, it just felt like he gave up. Of like, I understand, you know. Again, I'm cool with dark endings. I'm cool with like, hey, there's situations where this person just couldn't succeed.
He gave up. He gave up.
He gave up.
He did give up.
He gave up. He resigned himself to his fate. His whole thing was like, as long as my girl's good, I don't care what happens to me. I'm just like,
But to be honest, you saw signs of that whenever she went downstairs. The way he was looking at the TV, that numbness. Like, yes, he's just living for her.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
I know.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
I also saw his neck, man. I said, yeah, that's a guy who does not care.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Again, you know, like I said, I feel like I've seen similar stories with a better goal in mind of the character, even if the character ended up failing. I mean, if you really want to look at it, like you look at Eren from Attack on Titan. Like he has a similar thing of like, I'm a victim of circumstance. Why was I born into having less than and being told that I was never going to be able to do more? But even in Eren resigning himself to his fate, he resigned to himself to his fate with force. Like, okay, you can take it, but I'm going to go down swinging. And the world is going to feel it. Versus David was kind of like, I'm going to keep doing this till I can't anymore. I'm special.
Man,
like,
that chapter was crazy. Kid, when you saw the dog, man, mommy. It's just the rumbling. I was like, yo. Oh my god!
The two brothers,
the two brothers, and he had the little hat with the little tassel. Oh my gosh! I like yo, kill homie, and it's just, bro. There was like that. It cast an eclipse, and that's his foot. Just, oof, yeah, that's it, y'all boys.
You run till there's nowhere to run to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think again, I still think it's good. I think that it's good that CJ Projekt Red is delving into these things. I'm glad that they're expanding their reach. It does make me think that we're probably it almost makes me think like we should be getting Cyberpunk 2077 Part 2 before The Witcher 4, I would think, given all this cross promotion. But who knows? Right? Because like watching the anime made me like, I kind of want to play the game now. Having heard
that's what made people
S-Rank
play the game.
Yeah. Having heard you talk about S-Rank, I'm like, I'm not. It does make me
no,
a little more interested.
No. You could play it now, but before, listen, y'all fellas, listen to me.
PS5 version.
Yeah, yo, listen. You was driving cars into the last stage and completing it, then going back to your save at the beginning. I was getting chased by cops on foot while I was in my cruiser, and they were yanking me out. Militech would show up inside my house. You understand? Like some of the stuff that was taking place was like you were in reboot. Warning: incoming game user here. And it's like somebody hacked my game. It was unplayable. There was one part where I start the game and I couldn't get into the elevator would not spawn. So I'm suspended in air and I had to restart everything. You know how hard it took for me to get through the first boss and not be detected? It was crazy, man. Yeah. And then some of the enemies won't respond. One of the enemies, he tripped over, my friend was telling me a story. Man, he said he's playing the game. Then one of the guys tripped over a body. And it did 2,000 damage. But the enemy died, man. And I was like, dog, what? Kid.
That is why when it comes to open world games of that scale, I will wait.
Oh, man, save the gray hair, save the stress.
Yeah.
He told me, man, he got killed by a cup that was floating. He murdered the boss. He was like, woo! His sweat was dripping sweat. He said, dog, yeah, man, a pigeon killed me. I was like, hey, homie.
Yeah.
Like that? Like, yeah. Man.
Yeah. So
yeah, but it was some wild stories with it. But you could play it now. It's different now.
I
That
won't.
Sons of Liberty.
I
Yeah,
won't.
I'll play it for you.
Yeah.
I'll play it
I
for you.
won't.
But
I'll probably watch the cutscenes on. Yeah.
side note,
Yeah.
as we close, Elden Ring gonna win Game of the Year again, man.
For DLC?
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
No.
yes.
Maybe when they introduce a DLC category of the year, sure, it could take that all day.
No,
Game of the year as
probably,
DLC?
It's probably gonna be the first, yeah, because it's not even DLC. What I played was not DLC, man. That was an expansion.
But the expansion is still DLC, technically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if No Man's Sky get Game of the Year, I wouldn't be mad for all the rebooting that they did, right? It's technically a brand new game, so it's not, but it is, you know.
No, you're right.
So,
I just
you
think
know
like
what
we
I'm
don't
saying?
want.
But-
Also, I think the other thing too is we don't want to start encouraging developers to go that route of like, oh, I can just.
No. They can't. They can't do it. No.
Okay, then watch this.
No. They can't do it though. They can. That's what makes it. You know what I'm saying? Look how many Souls games we got. None of them have even scraped half, even the surface of what they could do. So it's not. It's like you. Okay, I'm gonna be Jordan too. I'm in the NBA. Jordan trained for this. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
I'm gonna be LeBron too. Do you see LeBron's body? I'm gonna be Shaq too. Like
we've seen the doors of chaos start to open already. I mean, Mortal Kombat got nominated for each edition they put out every year, so nothing's impossible.
That's true.
Well, that's it, because there was nothing out there at the same time. Like Street Fighter 5 was
they
not
got them
gonna
by
do it.
technicality. It technically released a physical version with new content. It was a new quote unquote game.
Yeah, it was MK11 Aftermath, then it was MK11 Ultimate. Yeah,
Three different games.
Technically just the same way Street Fighter does when they do Super Editions, Arcade Editions.
Yeah, that's fair. No, but it's gonna win.
Yeah, so if they release Elden Ring Shortened Lifespan Edition in the fall, then
what I played, man, I wish you guys would give it a chance, man.
Nope.
I'll play with y'all, bro. I really wish y'all,
cool.
man.
That's cool.
We live vicariously through you, bro. That's the dynamics of this podcast. We're all into things that the other one is not into, and that's totally fine. certain genres that we don't have to cross
for the reasons was like I'm like no, but like
no.
I might not make it to Resident Evil at this point. Who knows?
I will use that money for my gas tank and food.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I might skip to RE4 because
games are an investment now.
Life
You
is
can't
stress.
just be buying stuff just to buy stuff.
You could get it on Aniba for $15.
That I could use for gas and food.
Remember, it's a game that he does not want to play. That's the thing. It's not like one of those things where like, oh man, I'm curious to see how this game is.
Why don't you guys want to play it though? I never got a really good explanation.
It's too frustrating.
Because life is hard, and I don't need my entertainment to mirror it personally. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at,
15 years ago, maybe.
Maybe.
Me now, no.
No.
This precious gaming time I have is not going to be spent
frustrated.
I want to
enjoy
as I fill the neighborhood with curse words.
I want to enjoy my purchase.
Yes,
y'all looking at it the wrong way. Man.
No, we're looking at it the way as human beings. With our interests.
Yeah, that's like saying like I want to relax. Let me throw on a horror movie. Like no.
But the thing with horror movies is like, we're not even intrigued by the supernatural anymore like that. You know what I'm saying? To that degree, so it doesn't have its effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like next to the Nintendo, the NES era of gamers. We were raised in the trenches. Like we played hard games. We were playing games pre-patch era where it's like, look, this glitch is here to stay. This boss can one hit you. Good luck. Right. So like we put it in our time. I know I have. Like I'm good off the super boss. I'm good off you gotta get this specific build, otherwise you can't lay a finger on him. I am cool. I'm cool. Respectfully.
Because, bro, till this day, Mega Man Juno from Mega Man Legends 1 still frustrates me.
Yeah.
No.
We've been to the trenches. I put my time in. I played Ninja Gaiden. I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Press Start Select podcast. Thank you once again for tuning in to us. We could not do it without y'all. If you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're available on any places you can get your podcast platforms. Once again, I am Antonius the Gamer, Mikkel Smith, Super SSS rank, and we are the Press Start Select podcast. Later.